Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, May 20th, and you are listening to Michael and Lee on Lighten Up Talk Radio. And we are going to continue our show from last week. We're going to get into manifesting your dreams and all kinds of fun stuff. But first, we're going to kick off a new part of our show. Each week, I'm sure we're going to continue to add some new things, and we're going to pick an oracle card from Colette Baron Reed's one of her new decks. It's called The Enchanted Map. So, Lee, why don't you go ahead and pick us a card today?
Thank you, Michael. I will do so.
This is going to be a fun new adventure.
It's going to be a really fun adventure. And you'll be finding that out from both of us. We're very fun people, so every time that you listen to us, it'll be a fun adventure.
That's
we will guarantee you that. Well, the number is 21, and the card is the Field of Dreams.
Oh, Lord, are you serious?
I am serious, absolutely. And what does this mean to you, Michael? Let me hand you this card.
I'm laughing. Are you serious? Because I always am always amazed by the cards and how the attraction of the intention and what we're even talking about today is manifesting your dreams, and you pick the Field of Dreams card. It's really awesome. Well, you know, when I look at this card, I always like to look at the imagery of the cards, and it's all these little fairies sitting on eggs that look like they're ready to hatch. Actually, one of them is hatching, and it's just in this field of just magic. The sky is blue, and you see just sparkles and birds just soaring in the sky. So to me, it's that those dreams that we have,
yes,
they're seeds. You know, each one of the dreams is a seed, and it takes time to grow. It starts, and also, you know, one of the coolest things about a seed is it carries with it all the energy it needs to birth itself. All of the yolk, all of the pieces to get it to open and crack open are all there, and to carry it to the next level. And so that's what I'm drawn to, is that just with your dreams, just a dream in itself, if you just let it, you know, they also have their own gestation period, every dream. So when you put it out there, it may take it a while before it's going to crack open. And this is fascinating because I'm starting to think about a story that I'm going to want to share later in the show too, about that and some of my dreams. So anyway, that's really what it means to me. And it also, the number 21, you know, I love numbers.
Yes,
and reading the numbers. And to me, you know, 21, it's about having faith. 2 is about having faith. 1 is about, it's a manifestation number. And you do have to manage your thoughts and make sure that you stay positive, and wait and be patient. And so that number to me is just a total reflection of the card.
And I think that's a great card that was pulled today.
What about you? What do you get off that?
Well, when I say the Field of Dreams, of course, I'm a very always happy individual, and I look at what I'm looking at here in the fairies, as far as in the pasture, is very happy, and they're just very joyful. And your dreams is in a situation, I think, that I've been going through in the past couple of weeks, is a lot of dreams. We're in the point of time here with 2012, with the energy shifts and that type of thing, that I think more dreams are coming to us. I think it's very important to pay attention to what those are. And I would suggest to the audience that's listening to us right now to have a pad and a pen beside their bed, and if they wake up after this dream, to write it down, because a lot of times you'll think about little pieces of it the next day, or you won't remember at all what it was, but you just knew that you dreamed. And so I would recommend that to be done. Also in the Field of Dreams, I see birds flying up in the clouds. It's just always stay. I see a little moon up here too, by the way. And I think it's always just staying in a very positive mood. as far as always knowing that no matter what your day starts out to be, to always know that you can switch it and you can put yourself right here with the clouds and the birds and the little fairies and the eggs hatching and all that, and you can always change whatever your day is. It's very important to start your day out to be a very positive energy mode. And I think the cards and drawing them every morning gives you the thought pattern of a short meditation. Even a lot of people I know meditate in the morning. I know most of the time I do. But it can be something short. It doesn't have to be any long type of situation to whereas, you're missing work or you're not wanting to sit down. And you can kind of think about the card, particularly this particular one. I think it's very important to always keep your dreams and your happiness as number one in your life, and everything else will work itself out.
You know what hit me is what is your dream for the day? Even what is the dream for the day? It's kind of like your intention for the day. And if you take the time, whether it's a formal type of meditation or whether it's just, I know oftentimes I will lay in bed before I get up and I will just be thankful for where I am right now, and just envision that my day is just going to go perfect, and that perfection is outside of my own human what my mind might think is perfect. Right. That even if the day goes to my mind amok, that I know that was perfect. There's a perfection, an unfolding or a lesson out of all of that, and I affirm it that my day is just going to be perfect, and that's just going to unfold with joy, and I'm going to learn something out of it, and I'm going to have fun.
Well, you're always setting the intention. And when you set your intention to be as a positive mode, then your day is going to be exactly what the intention is. The first thing that I do in the morning when I wake up is I thank the bed for being such a good bed to me, that I've had a good night's sleep.
Love that.
And that and the old bed that I used to have, trust me, when I got this new one, I was really blessing it. Thank you. But
oh my gosh.
But I was actually able to really get a bed that was very comfortable for me, and I love it. And so it took a couple of years to be able to purchase the exact one that I wanted. And so I thank it every day for letting me have a good night's rest. I thank my pillows for them being so comfortable. And I also lay there and I actually go through the chakra system, and we'll go into that a little bit later about what that is, but actually get my motor started as far as envisioning my energy system within my body that runs up and down to whereas I will have the energy for the day to be able to encounter anything that confronts me, but it will always be with pleasure and happiness.
I love it. And that's one thing that I've done too in the past, done a chakra clearing in the morning and sometimes in the evening, but I've found, that my cycle of whatever I do changes to where I'm at in my life right now. And I also find that it's so important to follow whatever that is.
That's right.
Sometimes it may be literally that I need, a whole hour in the morning for myself. Sometimes it's just moments, but those moments are enough. And I love, back to the card for a minute, and our topic here, the continuation of manifesting your dreams, every single thought, intention is a seed. It's planted, it has its germination time, it sprouts. So whether it's an intention for your day that's going to planting a seed for the day, or whether it's, some aspiration or dream in your life that may take years, days, months, years to manifest, it's all the same process.
Right.
There's no difference about it whatsoever.
That's true. That's very true. It also goes back to also the angel number book that I use all the time. I have to bring that up in this conversation. That I actually have a Story and Virtue book, and I keep a pad also, the same pad beside the bed. And if I wake up, say for an example, at 3:21 in the morning, which is what happened this morning, I will actually pick the book up at that moment. I will read what 3:21 is, because that's actually the angels and the upper beings that's actually talking to me of exactly what I need to know and what I feel at that time. And it really gives me a lot of support. in what I do in my life. And I think it's very important to be very sensitive to cards and the actual books that you can read. We'll get into a lot of that later. But everything that you do, it can be the most minute thing. Mm-hmm. But it is always important whenever it comes into your life, and to be very mindful of that.
You know, I want to step back for a second and mention that book. It's a Doreen Virtue book. It's called Angel Numbers. And I know both of us have used that for quite a long time. Keep it close by. When I first started using that, it was as if my intention was going out to Spirit to give me a message. And I started, like what you just said, waking up, and the times, and seeing number sequences everywhere. And it started really attuning me to, you know, the numbers, and listening for signs and symbols through the numbers. But I wanted to mention to all y'all out there, if you're not interested in like the angel number book or something like that, I also have heard people even use the Bible, and they literally open it up, just swing it open and just let their finger go boom, and they'll get a message the same way as I personally prefer cards and using cards or other kinds of books and things like that. But it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't make any difference.
You can use all kinds of tools and use them to whatever creative way that resonates to your soul. Mm-hmm. And it is about waking up to the connection to the soul, is it not?
That is exactly correct. It is. It is definitely waking up to the soul. And if a message, is needed to come to you, there's all different types of ways that will happen. Mm. And the only thing that you as an individual have to do is open up yourself to be able to receive it, because it's always going to be given.
And that is so key to manifesting our dreams. You know, we're talking, my thoughts is, as we get into the show, we're talking kind of a little bit more focused on the aspirations in life purpose, you know, those kind of visuals or thoughts of what you want to do with your life, and feelings and emotions that come up that you're drawn to do, or activities, whatever it is. And so really paying attention to the way that the divine, our soul, the true part of who we are, speaks to us and gives us these sign symbols, whether you call it angels, your spirit guide, whatever it is, that whatever you like to refer to it as, or all of the above.
That's correct. It can be all the above.
But listening to those messages.
Right.
And Lee, what's something recent that's happened to you that, you know, as far as a message that's come to you?
A huge message was today, because I knew that today that we were going to be doing a lot of this type of work, our radio show, and a lot of other things. And when I got up this morning, my intentions was totally to be on, to be able to enjoy the day in a very pleasant mode and not get any type of stress going on, because I just totally don't go there. And when I walked into this room, to whereas we do our radio show, there was actually a feather that was actually laying on the floor as soon as I walked in to where our radio station room is. And that was such a sign to me of the blessing for having this to be going on today, and to be able to send it out to the air and to other people. And I might like to add that after the last show, when we were here, that we had just sat down just for a few minutes to communicate with each other. And there was actually a feather that actually came down beside of you, sitting on the sofa. And that was just total signs. Whenever any divine order, any angels, any spirit guides, whatever that's there, that they like to really congratulate you whenever they're recognized, because they're always with you. And it's just a wonderful thing when you have signs as that. It's just wonderful.
It is I feel so blessed to be recognized by Spirit, and it just is such a reminder. I remember sitting on that. I've never actually had a feather manifest like it did the other day. Mm-hmm. I was sitting on the couch, and I saw out of the corner of my eyes a full presence sitting next to me, and all of a sudden I turned my head, and there's a feather just following down from, the ceiling where that was, and then didn't you the other day you told me there were feathers laying on our keyboard, and it's just been reminding us how blessed that we are to be doing this show, and to be sharing these kind of gifts and of experiences that we've had that everyone can have in their own way. I'm so excited to share. Yes,
I am too. And it's so important, I might add, for you to really be able to focus on yourself. I mentor quite a few people that they're always into going into their teenagers or their husbands or their wives or whatever that it is. And I always remind them that, everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own written script of what their life's going to be, of whatever that they choose to go by the guidance to do in their life. But you have to always keep yourself centered, because it's around you. Everything is just around you. And whenever you kind of take away from yourself to think about other people 2 and 3-fold when they've got their own purpose, then it takes away from you really going into your own, to where you are really the example for your children and your spouses or brothers and sisters, whatever. And they can actually learn when they see that you're centered within yourself and what type of things that can happen. And so it's very important to not forget about you.
That's a powerful statement there, because we have to take responsibility for our own actions, the way that we see others, the way that we experience and put ourselves back out into the world. And what a more blessed and fun way. I know myself, because I've had some controlling tendencies in my life. My family, I learned to want to control things, growing up, and control others, and want them to do certain things. But feels so much more blessed to just live it and let people just learn. And if they want to know something more, they'll ask.
That's right.
And I've found that they get it a lot quicker when they want to ask. Than when you try to shove it down their throat. It doesn't work.
And also, if you're the example of manifesting the dreams,
yes.
Okay, if you're an example, and that they actually see that you have been able to do that, then you're right. The question is going to be coming of how are you always where you need to be and getting all that you manifest that you want. There's no better example for a mother. I've got 4 children myself. There's no better example than to be a mother that has that type of demeanor of saying anything in your whole life you can manifest. But start at the, it makes, if it's a young age, it's greater. But it doesn't have to be that. You can be 40 or 50 years old and manifest your dreams. It makes no difference how old you are. Age has nothing to do with it. But it's an example of, instead of seeing a stressed out person all the time that's not really focused on a lot of things except just mundane chores, and seeing somebody that actually has manifested a career, or just being a good mother. That in itself is the career, because it's a wonderful thing whenever you can have great parents. And you always want to have that. Sometimes that fades away but you always want that. But even if you have anybody, a brother and a sister, cousins that you can look up to be a real leader for you, and to see that they've actually gone into their own self to be able to manifest their dreams. It gives you a positive outlook of, they did it, so can I. That was a great example that they've given to me, because it's never too late. Age means nothing. It means nothing, and you can always get it.
You see wise people of every age, people that are childlike, of every age, and it's just a fragment of our mind.
That's right.
How the age manifests.
That's true.
So how do you think about it? I'd take a minute for you all out there to just what are your dreams? What's going on in your life? Are you acknowledging them? Are you putting any intention there? what are your thoughts and what are your emotions about it? Are you feeling afraid? Just addressing it head on, whatever those emotions or feelings are. Because if you're not honest with it, how are you going to break through?
That's true. And another thing I would like to suggest too is that, I've heard of a lot of people, they're very fearful to talk to other people about this topic, for an example. And, I've never had anybody I could vent to. I've never had anybody, because I always felt like that maybe they didn't understand, or they would think it was way off the center of what it needed to be. I think you have to put all that aside, because I think people would be quite amazed to know that I think that the general public believes in angels. The general public believes that you have guides that guide you. The general public believes in God and Jesus, and that's exactly where our belief system is as well. And you can go there. You can actually go there and speak about these topics with people. And, the only fear that you're having is within yourself.
Absolutely.
It's not when you put it out to others. Because even if you're strong enough to put it out to others that does not have the belief system, it still changes them just in the process of you going out there and being brave enough to do it. So either way, you're the winner. Either way.
Oh, yes. And I'm reminded of some of my own life experiences that have triggered, as I've gone through major change and transformation, it's also triggered it in other people from just witnessing it, just in the background even, and seeing how, I know for years back when I left corporate America, that was actually part of my dreams at some point, but we won't go back that far. Right. One piece that just really resonates to me right now, and I think it'll resonate with some of you all out there, when I actually was a mechanical engineer, working in the automotive field, and had been doing that for quite a few years, was very successful in that, and had hit a wall to where I knew that I was done with that part of my life, but didn't know what steps to take. And I'll never forget the time when I went home one day, frustrated, depressed, all of those things, going through phases of depression, because there was a part of me that was not being real with what I really wanted in life, who I really was, and there were layers to it. We could spend a whole show talking about all that, but the key for me was surrender. Surrendering that, one, I don't know how to do it. All I know is that I need to make a change in my life. And I remember literally falling to the floor in my living room and just saying, reaching out to, to me at that time, I used the word God and source and something, the bigger part of me, that I needed help, and that I was willing to surrender what I thought it looked like. And on some level, my dream was, at that time, as big as I could see it at that time, was just leaving corporate and being able to work for myself, being able to listen and follow my own inner being, my own whatever life was bringing through me. And there was so much at the time, I just didn't know how to break free from it, from the financial, all these human type of things that we've got to go through. But that moment of surrender was one of the most powerful moments, and I remember it. And also, it was actually about a year and a half later when the breakthrough happened. And so again, I planted a seed that day, but it was quite a while before the doorway opened to leaving, and it was even a doorway that I really didn't expect. I thought, I could just kind of jump ship and leave, and I could have, but I had responsibilities and things that I had to take care of. I had a house, had a partner, and it really took a lot of time to get to where I am today. A lot of process, a lot of layers, a lot of healing to get to the place where I could be totally honest with myself of the big dream. what I always felt as a little child of helping people and going and all this stuff. So I'm telling you all this story because, you know, our dreams grow, expand, change, evolve, and don't be afraid to let them evolve, and don't be afraid to, if you're out there, I know some people don't even venture to dream because they're afraid of failure. Well, I can tell you right now, I've failed over and over again at things, but without failing at those things, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't even know how to do what I'm doing today. And moving into further and further expansion with this dream, because this has been one of my dreams for years, trying different kinds of avenues with it, but trying to force it to happen instead of allow it to happen was a big lesson for me.
Right.
And so that's been a huge learning process with following my dreams and realizing that they grow and evolve, and they take sometimes a lot of time in this human world to blossom into what the destiny is, the bigger manifestation of it.
Right. And I could talk about that type of scenario myself, because I work for a Fortune 500 company, and I had been with them for quite some time. And I had been promoted over all the marketing for 9 states for this company.
Were you a vice president?
And yes, and I also had won an ACE award for coming up with this idea that went company-wide over the United States, and had been in a banquet-type facility over in San Francisco. And it was just really at the top of my game as far as corporate America. And I came back to Atlanta, and 2 weeks later, I was sitting there in my office up on the 45th floor, and I looked out the window, and I had gotten a memo on my desk that morning that they were going to change from checks and that type of thing as far as personnel records and that type of deal. Instead of names, that they were going to change to numbers. And that the person would be a number now because it was easier to deal with as far as computers and versus names. And at that moment, something just clicked in my head that I absolutely would never work for any type of company that absolutely did not they would go for a number versus a name. I would not be a part of that. And I will never forget, it set with me all night. It set with me all night, that one thing. And I thought, this is just against any type of thinking, because I'd always been very much of a people person. And I thought, this is not going to work for me anymore. And I went up to the president's office, and I said, I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. I'm leaving. And he said, you've lost it. And I said, no. I said, I'm gaining it. I said, and what I'm gaining is I will not take myself to a place that think of people as numbers instead of names. And 2 weeks later, I packed up my office. I walked out the door, 4 children, and absolutely had no clue what I was going to be doing. And what happened was 2 weeks later, a door opened up. I've never looked back. I have never been another employee of another company since. I've always taken on just 1099 type jobs to be able to do whatever that pleased me to keep me happy, which actually took me to Fox TV, which actually took me into the media part of it. Of now, I'm really, really enthused about the radio. And we're going to be going further in other type of things, because TV, I'm sure, will be next. But I would have never opened that door if I had had the fear of anything. I had no severance pay. I had nothing. I walked out the door. And that's one of the biggest things that I've really ever took the challenge in my life. And I was not even in the as much of a spiritual mode, of course, as I am now as far as strength. But there was something within me that knew that I would not go to that level of people being numbers. I would not.
And you stood in your integrity.
And I stood in it, and everything has worked out better than I could ever imagine in my lifetime. And I've got a lot more years to go, but it has just been totally divine. And I can actually put that one day as being the changing part of my life. Totally changing.
That's a beautiful story. And I know that there's you all out there that are going through different types of job changes or in the midst of, wanting to leave something behind. And you've got to follow that inner guidance, that inner ding, that knowing your own integrity. As you said, Lee, that was one particular example of how you were able to know the difference between what worked for you and what didn't, and that was your gateway out of that, and each one of you have your own process. I used to, when I first really started full all out on this spiritual awareness journey that we've been on now for years, I used to watch other people and even think maybe, maybe it'll happen like theirs. That's never been that way. It's never happened. Angels' experiences, they never happen like someone else. They're always my own unique experiences. So please, y'all, don't think that you're not worthy or that you're less than because you're having or you're not receiving it or, having the same kind of experiences that you see other people having. It's not going to work that way. And we're here to tell you that. That's
a fact. That is very true.
Because I have spent a lot of time thinking in my life that I'm not worthy because of that. And it's taken me some real concerted awareness and work on myself to break free of that chain, and it is a chain.
It is that. And then and every time that we're talking about the economy, we're talking about the jobs, this, that, and the other, that absolutely is nothing but an illusion. It's just an illusion, and it's an illusion in your own mind. It's whatever that you make your mind think that is. And don't get caught up with the news. Don't get caught up with all this other stuff that's just illusions, because you can manifest your whole life. It makes no difference what the so-called professionals say about the economy, because that's something that don't even go through your mind. You can go for it. You can go for it. And this time in 2012 is a time to manifest it, because the energy is incredible.
Hallelujah.
And you can absolutely manifest anything in your life that you want to at this time, in this moment, in this second. Don't let any type of outside interference ever stop you from thinking that you can do that.
You can do it. Go.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just put it out there. Start with that recognition. And I bet many of you already know that it's time.
It's time.
It is time to wake up to the connection to your soul. It is so time, and it's in so many different ways that connection unfolds. Remember, your minds are wonderful, wonderful tools, but they're also riddled with patterns. And our souls are pure connection. There's not fear in the soul. It's not a fear thing. It's a pure thing, and you're pure. And the mind is what picks up all of these fears and beliefs and all of this stuff. And we're about here helping you as we are on this journey of waking up to that pure connection.
And that's true. That's absolutely true. Because when you're born, your soul is perfect, and your soul always stays perfect. The only thing that gets in your way is your own mind and your own sometimes the upbringing part of you. But that is something that you can absolutely shed it totally away. You can do that. And it can be a work in progress, but that's okay. We don't have time anyway, so time really makes no difference about that. You just work at it every day, and it's amazing how fast that you can go in there and manifest your whole life totally different to the point of total happiness. There is not anything that I can think about that can ever get me out of the happy mood that I am? Nothing. Nothing. Because I am a true believer that what comes into your life, you do the best with it that you can. And that's all that you can do. And you can help people or you can help them, because that is definitely, we're givers and we're healers and we're whatever. But on the other side, you've got to be able to have belief within yourself and to know that when the message comes to you, you need to follow it through because it's going to be the right one. And I don't even talk about the scare word, because there's no such of a thing in this world as being scared. It's only going for it.
I can hear some of the folks out there going, well, I'm scared right now, and all of these kind of things. Well, remember that's a learned thing, and the only way to break through those patterns is to go for it. Take a leap of faith, look at the fear in the face, and go for it. Make a change. And if you need help, you go get it. We all need help in certain areas of our life, and there is no, I used to think that I was less strong by asking for help. It was one of the things that I was taught growing up, that you have to do it all and you have to be strong and, tough and dig into everything. There was some truth in that, but the greatest strength is reaching out for help when you need it. And I'm still learning how to do that in my life, but I've learned that it is so incredible to reach out and how quickly things change when I do that. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the perfect example of that is that we're very connected, the two of us. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything going on in our lives during that day, then we're either going to text each other or we're going to eventually get on the phone with each other, because it's always good to always have that partnership, whereby there is a person that's there, that if you get stuck, that other person can walk you through that. And you can say, okay, come on. This is what this needs to look like, not this way. And to give you another perspective, because we're human, and that's just what it is. But it's always, I encourage somebody to always have a best friend that is on the same positive level as you are, to be able to talk about, and we laugh. And some of the things that, just like we was talking about getting in the middle of the night, some of the things that happen has been very comical of what happens, and where you can just kind of voice yourself and not have any type of fear that gets into it of any judgmental thing. One of the most difficult things, and we'll have a whole topic of this, but is about shedding the ego, because one of the biggest obstacles I think that people need to work on is shedding an ego, because ego will stop you every time. And one person is no better than the other. We're all the same. We are all the same. Mm-hmm. People are people all over the world. It makes no difference. We are all the same. And when you have a judgmental value around that, you really need to work on your inner self to really look at that topic and say, God put us all here. He would not have put us all here in different sizes, different colors, different speeches, different whatever that we are, if we weren't all perfect. Because when we're here, we came in, we're perfect. So we need to just shed all of those thought patterns.
It's fascinating. I always like to take a minute to get kind of clarified with what it is today that we mean with the word ego. As to me, there's the ego part of the humanness that keeps us safe, that part of us, like it's just like in animals have, that lets us know when we're hungry, all that kind of stuff. There's that ego. But then I think with the ego that we're really talking about is the projections, perceptions that are not in alignment with what our soul is.
That's true.
And all of those conglomerations of things make up this ego, whatever it is. And the more that you practice listening, awareness, observance, you can start to really see your own ego, because we all have it. It's part of,
it's part of who we are.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's keeping it in the right perspective.
Yes.
Of being able to be a positive part of you, instead of hindering you from doing other things that maybe that you would not do if you didn't think that you were so special.
me.
me. And that's the ego that I speak about, is to be able to go out into life and just really look at everything that's out there that God has created in this lifetime, and have no prejudice and ego around it.
I'm so with you on that. And there's, that oftentimes brings up for people. I'm hearing y'all out there, some of you who may go, well, what's, you said earlier, me, and you got to be in yourself and all of those kind of things. Well, it all starts from within each one of us. There's a big difference between starting from self and making sure that you're in alignment with your integrity, your true feelings about things, who you really are, all of those things. And it's just an important thing to manage.
When you shed your whole skin, I look at this, when you just go in there and you shed it out, it's freedom. It's a freedom state that you have. And when, no matter what the age that you are, when you can just take that skin and shed it totally off to where it's nothing but love and compassion, then you really get into your true self of who you are. And you then find the purpose, and to be able to quiet your mind. I always call it a monkey mind. I'll tell a lot of my friends, stop your monkey mind today. Get back into your quiet mind, because that's when you can really thrive and manifest all the dreams that you have that you would like to have, and you will get them. And always know that there's always someone there that is beside you 24/7 that will always help you. And all you need to do is ask.
And that help can be in the form of angels, spirit guides, and I'm sure many of you, I know I have had times in my life when I didn't have a physical person to really connect with, that really to share all of the experiences that I was having and even feel safe about it. And so I would always reach out to something else, something different. And earlier on in my childhood, I would feel the presence of what I now connect with as angels. But you can always just ask for assistance in any way, shape, or form. And if you desire human friends that are open to be able to talk to about these things, and you don't have those in your life, sometimes it means that you have to step out of your box. And also it may mean that you may have to let go of some of your acquaintances and friends that are actually in the old energy that keep you tied to the other stuff. I know I've gone through iterations of letting go of people that don't serve me where I'm going in my life now, where we're just not on the same page anymore. And it took me a while to realize that it was just okay, that where they were and I were, there wasn't a right or wrong but place, but I didn't feel resonating with them, and so it was time for me to let them go, or it was time for them to let me go. And I've been through phases of that, but I've also realized that it's like cleaning out your closets. You got to make room for what it is in your life that you desire, what you feel is coming, there's not any way for it to show up. And that manifests in every type of situation you could imagine. Cleaning out your closets, cleaning is the same as cleaning out your mind clutter. It's all the same. One's more, whether it's in this physical realm or in the mental realm, it's just all the same.
That's right. And if you just go about everything in a loving fashion, everything works for you, and you can manifest it all. Don't just take part of it. You can have it all. It's
an amazing experience that we have here sharing with you, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the show. And Lee, is there anything else that you'd like to bring to light as we close up for today?
I think it's been a great session, and I'm always glad to be here with my friend, Michael. And I will be so happy to get back at the same seat for next week and be able to put it out on the air and just do what our life purpose is, because this is one part of it. And I thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Lots of love to you.
Lots of love.